I think the one that makes sense, like, some years you go after the best guy out there, right? And you get Christian McCaffrey. Other years you get Charles Menahue,
Right.
right? You
That
get
was a
like
great that was a great trade for what it's worth.
a depth piece. Sometimes you don't need. Sometimes you get an Arden Key.
Right.
I think there's a number
Sometimes you
of
get a chaser.
interesting options. Um, like, okay, so we'll talk about the old saying, the old
Sometimes you get a
song
Randy
by
Gregory.
uh, Rolling Stones. You can't always get what you want, but you try sometimes. You find you get what you need.
Yeah.
All right, so Tennessee, it's easy to say, hey, they should go after, the big defensive tackle, Jeffrey Simmons. I could, the two more likely guys are probably Arden Key and Sebastian Joseph Day.
Yes.
Okay. Cleveland, people will say, hey, go get Myles Garrett. But probably the two more likely guys are Malik Collins and Joe Tryon-Shoyinka.
Probably not going with Collins again, just a hunch.
Yeah, just a hunch. But I mean, he's playing well. Jets have Will McDonald, Jermaine Johnson, Michael Clemens. Miami's got Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb. If Arizona circles the drain, they got Calais Campbell. But to me, if I was wagering on what the Niners will do, I just don't believe the price tag for Simmons or for Trey Hendrickson is going to jive with what they want to spend. So I think they, I love those players. I mean, they're great.
Yeah, unquestionably. If we're playing Madden and it ain't our money, get those guys.
Get those guys. Yeah. I mean, Jeffrey Simmons would be my first choice. Hendrickson would be my second choice. They're both really, really good. Mm-hmm. But if you said come up with somebody that you think they're going to go after, I would probably come back and say Carl Granderson and Davon Godchaux from New Orleans, just from the standpoint. Granderson,
Godchaux,
I know he's had some off-field issues, so that always scares them away. But he's a Sacramento kid. Mm-hmm. He's playing well right now, and he's in his prime. Godchaux is a really, really good run defender, and I just think they're probably going to look at their line and say we need both, because Nick Bosa was a very good run defender.
Yes.
So you lose Nick Bosa, the run defender, you lose Nick Bosa, the pass rusher. I think it's going to take two guys to replace him. I mean, if you can get Trey Hendrickson, then it doesn't take two guys to replace him. But if you can't get Trey Hendrickson, it is going to take two guys to replace him. And I think Godchaux and Granderson, I could picture them being traded. Mm-hmm. Two, I think they could probably get those guys for a reasonable cost.
I bet it'd be cheap.
And I could see them. That's what I could see.
I mean, the Granderson issue is that you're taking on almost $13 million for the next 2 years on the books by bringing him in. They're not going to do that for him because he's good, but he's not that good. He's not. We're taking on $13 million. And by the way, I'm pretty sure that the contract is like a vested situation. So I can see why the Saints would want to move off him. I'm pretty sure Godchaux they just got. I'm not looking at his contract right now. My concern with that is that he's a true nose guard, which I would hope that the 49ers defensive line coaching staff is open-minded to, hey, they've lined guys straight up in zero technique this year, and they could really use somebody who can hold the damn gap because they're asking Alfred Collins to do it. He's not ready for it yet. He's doing better, but he's not ready for it yet. And, taking on double teams, it's still a work in progress. Let's leave it at that. But he's not a gap shooter. He's never shot a gap in his life. He couldn't fit into the gap. He's so big. I think Chris Kocurek would just say that's not my kind of player and move on, which I think he's wrong to not be open-minded to it, but he is very steadfast in his style of how he wants defensive linemen to operate. He just wants DJ Jones. That's all he wants. He wants DJ Jones in the middle, and he wants Nick Bosa on the outside. That's his ideal. If you have to give Eric Armstead, he didn't know what to do with him for years. They kept moving him to different positions, couldn't figure it out. I guess DeForest Buckner was so damn good that they're like, this is great, we'll do it. But they still couldn't figure out what technique to play him at. They want DJ Jones, 3 technique, 1 technique. They want Nick Bosa, 7 technique, 9 technique. That's all. That is the platonic ideal for a Chris Kocurek, and Davon Godchaux is not that. He is awesome. He's a hell of a football player. and he fits a lot of schemes. Anything that's a 3-4, anything that uses a tight or mid front, like he kicks ass in that. I don't think that's. I think that they'd get a veto from Chris Kasarik on that.
He's, I mean, beggars can't be choosers. You can't. Yeah, you could look for the perfect guy, but it's really more important that they just get a couple different guys. They got to get a couple bodies up front.
There's always a Khalil Davis. You can always.
I mean, he didn't do anything.
That's what I'm saying. But they just made a trade last year for saying that they could make a trade, and then he didn't do anything. Jordan Jefferson, I thought, gave him 9 nice reps. They cut his ass the other day. Like there's a lot of stuff about this.
I thought
team.
I saw him today.
Maybe you did. I don't know. He's hanging out. I didn't see any press release that said he's back. They cut his ass before Thursday.
I could have swore I saw him in the locker room.
Heaven forbid you just take one of your 42 injured players and put one of them on injured reserve with a designation. Heaven forbid you do that. They just cut his ass. Now, again, they might have been able to bring him back. I don't know. They didn't pay anything to get him. It was a 7th-round pick or whatever, and a swap at that. But, yeah, I did find that to be interesting that they, I thought he gave good reps against Jacksonville the other week.
Is there a position that the Niners ought to go after at the trade deadline that isn't D-line? Because, I mean, people will say offensive line, but there's no offensive lineman available.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Kalia Davis, by the way, is out a couple games, right? So they're gonna. I would imagine Evan Anderson or Sebastian Valdez may get called off the practice squad. But I mean, is there besides the D line
huge too?
What if you could add a piece besides the D line? What do you want to
add? Maybe a better backup option at nickel. I thought Oliver had a nice rep. Was it Chase Lucas or Oliver? I get them mixed up. Who's on the team now?
Chase Lucas.
Chase Lucas. They subbed him in. He played well. That feels like a dangerous game. I don't think Stout was injured. I think they benched his ass. So now that's up in the air. I think upgrading at Sam linebacker would be a positive play. Not sure how they pull that off while maintaining their just awesome special teams ace and Luke Gifford. There's a lot of spots that you would take somebody. There's not a lot of spots that have a clear upgrade because most spots are either inhabited by somebody who is already proven and established, and that's their position, or they're trying out young guys saying, hey, okay, can you prove that you're the guy here, like with Upton Stout or with, Marquise Siegel at free safety, even though there's no definition between free and strong anymore, it seems. It'd be nice to have a tight end, but you just paid he's playing like Saubert. You just played Luke Fickell. Tom just has been good. Farrell,
Luke Fickell is the head coach.
Luke Fickell will also be available here, I imagine, pretty soon because he's about to get.
Farrell's been hugely disappointing.
He's been awful. He's been
he's not been the great run blocker, and he fumbles, and it's like, I mean,
it's a meeting with the Bobs, Lair. What is it you say you do here?
Yeah, what would you say you do here?
They don't need any more damn wide receivers. I know that they could. You can always use more. There's an old joke in the biking community that the number of bikes that you need is N plus 1, which is number of bikes you currently have as N. With wide receivers, that appears to be Kyle Shanahan's motto, N plus 1. So I don't think they need to do anything more there. I thought B-Rob actually looked pretty good, all things considered, against the Rams. Though maybe you could replace Garendo, but that's what Jordan James is theoretically here for, though maybe we'll never find out what that is. Again, this is a roster that's positioned not for clear upgrades, but for continued progress of the guys that are currently playing. And they will go the way that they go. The one spot that you can use a clear upgrade is the one spot where the player who is out is unquestionably out for the year. And that's a defensive end or just defensive game wrecker on the line. So, no, not really. I mean, again, we're talking about, sub-package players effectively when I say where you'd like to upgrade. Sam linebacker, I think that you could get more juice than what you're getting from Luke Gifford. And I think that you should have better insurance for Stout, but that's a tough position to make a trade at. So to answer your question in a very long-winded way, Larry, no, not really.
I would say tight end just because it's like if you can find another tight end that can help you. I mean, I don't know what the Kittle hamstring thing is scary because he means so much to what you do, and if his hamstring is, if he had a recurrence of the hamstring, you're losing a player that you can't. You're not. I mean, Tongus is doing the best he can do. Farrell
He's trying so hard. Farrell is not doing the best he can do.
It just doesn't. Neither of those guys can replicate Kittle at all. I just feel like they need another tight end.
But where are you getting a two-way tight end? I mean, there's so few of them to begin with. And I just don't, I can't, and certainly not off the top of my head, which is apparently very cloudy this evening. Like, I just can't think of anybody who might be available who could even be a reasonable facsimile to a George Kittle. I just can't. I can't imagine.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Robert Tonyan was on somebody's practice squad. I mean, I don't think he's terrible. You've got
if he's on a practice squad, then those injuries have zapped him of whatever he had, and he wasn't a crazy athlete to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, there's tight ends dealt around the league. I mean, it seems like there's probably some good young tight ends that they could probably get their hands on. Sure. I don't know. It definitely seems like a position though that
they got a bad eye for that too.
If they have to lean on Tongus and Farrell, it's going to be rough. I'm with you. I don't think that's a good idea.